I don't mind telling you, I don't understand Trump's logic, and so I'm going to drag in Tobias Ellwood, a defence and security analyst, former UK Defence Minister, chair of the Defence Select Committee, and of course a British Army officer to boot, and I'm going to put the burden on him to try and explain it. Good morning to you, Tobias.
Good morning. Good morning.
I struggle to see Trump in any other way than a Putin apologist, and his sort of latest pronouncements confirm my view.
Yes, I mean, we are experiencing the harshest of reality checks. America cannot, for the moment, be seen as a trusted security ally as Trump increasingly aligns with our adversary, who's pursuing a war in Europe. However out of character this sounds, however un-American this looks, given that we normally look to America to lead the West, when you piece together Trump's actions, a troubling American vision emerges, painting Zelenskyy as the dictator, not Putin, denying that Russia even started this war in the first place, but now these material changes in Ukraine itself, holding back military aid, holding back intelligence sharing, and now holding back access to Starlink. And Trump has the audacity to say, my goodness, look at Russia, it's bombing the hell out of Ukraine. Well, it's these recent American actions that have weakened Ukraine's air defense, severely limiting its ability to see the incoming missiles and then respond to it. So Ukraine's infrastructure is now being crippled. And then Putin wants a peace deal. He's now got Trump supporting that advance. So we need to wake up as to where this is all going. This is so dangerous for NATO, game-changing. We can no longer trust America at the moment to work with us to stand up to Russian aggression. So right now, the answer, I'm afraid, is that we must distance ourselves from America and recognize that Europe is alone.
I spoke to a number of listeners yesterday, last week rather, who came across as Putin apologists. I'm just wondering, well, how on earth this new world order, how sustainable it really is, when it just seems to me to be based on a web of lies.
There is something behind it, in my view. When you do analyze this, and I try to do that, look 3 or 4 chess moves ahead. Where is this all going? Why is Donald Trump doing this? Alienating friendships and alliances, even challenging his own neighbors, Mexico and Canada. And I sense that he has firstly, an abandonment of any national duty to uphold or repair our crumbling global order. Let's call it as it is. That America and Britain actually once helped to build. Gone is any loyalty towards those allies and indeed alliances. And you're seeing the world in paralysis. The UN Security Council doesn't work. The World Trade Organization has collapsed. And Trump sees this as a new dawn, a new era where nations, big nations, all fend for themselves. They all have their own areas, spheres of influence. And America includes Panama, includes Greenland, includes Canada, and Russia's includes Ukraine. And Trump is very happy to cede Ukraine over to Putin if that keeps the peace with these other big giants in this new jungle of chaos.
Couldn't agree more with what you just said there, Tobias. Absolutely spot on. Now, just last thought, sanctions. So far, Trump has been very vocal about what he wants Ukraine to do. Very, very little has been said from him about what Putin and Russia should do. Last night he mentioned sanctions. Oh, yeah, I might have to put sanctions on Russia. I can't remember when he last suggested. I think it was at the end of his. He certainly talked about sanctions before, but has never followed through. Do you foresee any kind of US penalty being levied on Russia?
None whatsoever. No. As I say, he respects strength. He respects authoritarianism. So he respects Putin more than he does Zelenskyy. He respects where Russia is going more than where he sees Ukraine going. And because of that, that's very dangerous for Britain and indeed Europe, which is why we need to invest more in defense. There is absolutely a schism developing between America's vision of where the world goes or Europe goes and indeed Europe's. That's why we need to up-arm. That's why we need to invest in our defense and recognize that, I'm afraid, very sadly, that America is no longer a reliable security partner.
Should we be looking at Poland, considering putting every male through war training? Every male through war training?
Well, I said this during the general election. This was my idea, to bring back a form of national service. It wouldn't be Army, Air Force, or Navy. That's important. It would be an all-of-society approach. The ability to have a latent level of resilience that can be called upon at any time, tapped into, so every one of us would have capabilities. And it wouldn't just be, for example, the key services, but if you had skill sets to support the Coast Guard, the ambulance, the fire service, the mountain rescue, or the defense industry as well, or particularly the data domain. So cybersecurity skills, AI skills, drone capabilities, all these things that would allow Britain to be more resilient, improve our readiness. That's exactly what other countries have done, particularly Finland, an incredible model that I believe that we should actually copy. We cannot afford to keep a huge standing army. Look at the debates we've had about moving from 2 to 2.5, possibly to 3%. We need a different approach, but the starting point is persuading the British people that we moved into a new era of insecurity, and everybody has to lean in.
Tobias Ellwood, always a pleasure. Thank you so much for giving up your time this Saturday morning. I think he's right on a lot of that.